What's up, everybody? Welcome to Versus episode 43. I am John Maher, fresh from the Super Bowl. And this is my partner, Will Cohen. How's it going today, Will?
I am not fresh from the Super Bowl. I am fresh. I am fresh from doing something completely different, but we're here talking about something that is far from fresh today, and God help us all for talking about this.
Yeah, we've turned over another rock. The next movie in like chronological order, according to Letterboxd, was Atelophobia 2, Chapter 2. I'm sorry, Mr. Lujan, Chapter 2. But there's obviously an Atelophobia, the original. Turns out that's an ITN Distribution movie as well. It just wasn't included in the pantheon. So we're going to start with one of the great movies that like teaches you a vocabulary word in Atelophobia.
Don't you girls look spectacular? I see you all now know what pain is. Let's get the show started. Please! I didn't do anything! Help me! You appear to be.
You know what? Some points for that trailer, because it's actually like the opposite of these trailers. Like this trailer, like actually is somewhat interesting, and I would have no idea what the movie's about. I'm watching the trailer, so it's kind of intriguing, which is unfortunate.
What's even weirder about this is that there's maybe like 2 or 3 scenes from the actual movie in the trailer, and there's like 75% of that trailer, at the very least, has nothing to do with it. Like, has barely anything to do with this movie at all.
Well, those scenes don't appear in the movie, but those outfits appear in the movie, I guess is the best way to put it.
Like, thing at the beginning where like the one with the bloody face and like just like,
oh yeah, that doesn't happen at all.
Yeah, 100% does not happen in the movie. So yeah, this is a very perplexing trailer at the very least. But first of all, I want to point out something very much from the credits. Fuck this movie for getting my hopes up and thinking that Corey Taylor from Slipknot was going to be in this. I was so fucking pissed off because there's someone with dreads in the movie, and I'm like, oh god, this is like right along the time that he was that thin. Like, could this actually be Corey from Slipknot? No, it's not.
It's
definitely not. So, fuck you for getting my expectations up. Second of all, this movie is like I feel like this is like right in the timeline of like the birth of every single terrible ITN film trait.
Right there. Yeah, it's right there.
You have bitchy women who are friends with each other, and you just don't understand why.
Can you get away? You're annoying. Just move. Shit! I need makeup. Where's the peasant?
You have like blatant, like blatant misogyny.
Perfect answer, bitch.
If Bianca wins, I'm gonna shoot myself.
Like just,
Rampant
like,
misogyny. It's laid bare.
You have like motivations, villain motivations that make zero fucking sense.
I see you all now know what pain is.
And then a movie that just ends.
A creature. A monster.
Yeah, well, this movie actually ends in a way that, like, at least if they didn't make a sequel, I'd be like, okay, that story encapsulates itself. And we'll get to Atelophobia 2 next week. Believe me, and you're in for a treat there too. But this movie is, I mean, it's less than 90 minutes. Great. But like, this movie could have been 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
Like, easily. This movie could have been 10 minutes long and it would have been fine. But they stretched it out over 90 minutes, and it's just like every zit and scar is there for you to see in this movie. But I will start with a little English lesson. Atelophobia is the fear of being imperfect. That's what it means. And that's basically, honestly, I would say the director, Joe Lujan, fancies himself like a philosopher, because there's so many cutaway scenes where it's like people are like on a soapbox just saying like really profound things that when you stop and think don't mean anything.
She lifted a piece of broken mirror and stuck it into her eye. She made Dad look at her with pity.
And there's a lot of these like CGI laden poetry readings just like spliced into the movie. And that could have
no reason.
70 minutes. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. And it's like weird. It's like bad. It's like jagged edge level bad CGI, but it's like bad enough CGI. It's like having just come from watching the 90s Mortal Kombat movies. It's like that kind of bad CGI.
The sound of their screams and cries and misery are absorbed by the walls of the cold chamber.
And yeah, it's just baffling, like how this is just like absolutely stretched out. It's like, okay, let's delve into this paper thin plot, and even then, that might be like too like that might be
the plot is just like there's these girls, like there's 6 of them total, right? And they're all like, let me get this straight. Since they're children, they're all friends.
I'm sure it's not true.
Well then, try it. Prove us wrong.
5 minutes, right?
Like there's 5 girls who compete in apparently every local beauty pageant. They all just compete against each other because they all know each other, and the one girl has won all of them. And then they're all friends since childhood with this other girl who's like a hair and makeup artist that works behind the scenes at the beauty pageants. And all but one of these girls treat this other girl, Meredith, like shit.
Do you need help with anything? Makeup touch-ups?
Please. Do you see his face? It's perfect.
Like it's not even like, oh wow, she's just the least popular. No, they fucking treat her like it's not even, it's laid bare. Like, we want to get the point across that these girls treat this other girl like shit.
That's all they have.
This is disgusting.
Are you that dumb?
You're so stupid that you got water from the sink? That isn't even sanitary.
I'm sorry.
It's crazy.
Yeah, like they keep cutting back to like the big trauma incident in like when they're in like grade school where they like lock her in a bathroom, which is so bafflingly stupid because you can actually see the door handle like move all the way down, and she's locked from the outside, which bathrooms don't work like that.
Guys! Let me out! Guys, open the door! Oh, it didn't work. Well, let's see if it works if we stay in here all night.
And so this kind of feeds in, like, it's very logical that she that she somehow couldn't make it out of a bathroom when the lock is on her end, as to why she thinks that like the way that these girls, that later on, these girls are tied to the chairs in such a shitty fashion that's like they can still move their arms around and somehow not find the way back.
They're not tied to those chairs. Like I'm going to put tons of evidence. They are not tied to the chairs. They are crisscross. Like they have bungee, like the bungee cables you use to secure things in the back of a pickup truck, just crisscrossed around their torsos. Their arms are fully free. And they're just like barber chairs. Like you could like reach under it and find the hook and probably just unhook yourself, and you'd be free.
Well, not only that, it's even simpler than that. All they had to do is just go,
that too. And to compound things, like we're jumping around, but who really cares? Because like we can explain everything that happens in this movie in like 30 seconds. Like all these girls are tied to chairs, and then a skinny dude in S&M outfits and a dwarf come and visit all of them and make them pick things out of pick folded pieces of paper out of a bowl that will decide like what's going to happen to them. And none of them are going to die, but they're all going to get disfigured in some way. And like in some of the cases, like they make the girls disfigure themselves. So these girls whose arms and legs are totally free to fight back, they hand them knives, they hand them scissors, they hand one girl a hammer. And none of these girls think to hit the 120-pound guy or the dwarf with the hammer or the knife. They just mutilate themselves.
TikTok ladies, if you don't do it yourself, we'll do it for you.
Well, and here's the thing that's really stupid about this is like it's a set up like very like this is set up as Saw rules, where it's like if you can do this and you'll go free, and that just doesn't happen. And one of them, I can't remember which one. These are all disposable women who just really doesn't give a shit at this point. One of them isn't even given the choice to do it. She is just lowered in, her dress is cut, and then she has hot boiling water like poured all over her torso.
Yeah.
And so like no, like
the first two girls too. Like the first two girls have no choice because the first girl is the main girl. They go to Bianca and they like slice off her forehead. I guess like they slice off the skin of her forehead. And like throw it on the ground. But when they cut back to her, like it's just blood. Like there would be disfigurement. Like you would see like a hole in her head. But when they cut back to her, it's just like blood smeared on her forehead. It's like, oh, she's fine.
Yeah, and so it's like it just, and unless you like hearing like high-pitched screaming over and over and over and over and over again for seriously like 60 or 70 minutes of the entire runtime, this is definitely the movie for you. I, on the other hand, have functioning ears, and after a while, it just gets boring. It's like,
yeah, if you hate women and you actually have a hobby where you torture women, this movie is for you. Like if you're
this movie is giving you like a big rubbery one.
If you're an amateur like woman torturer, like if you actively keep women in your basement and torture them, this movie is for you. Like this was made for you because this is the whole movie. Right? I'm not going to scream, but it's got that whole Saw thing where it's like that happens a ton in the movie.
Right,
like, you'll love it. And
they're
screaming.
Yeah, I don't know who this purple Rose Z769 is, who gave both Atelophobia and Atelophobia Chapter 2 5 stars and a heart. This person needs to be put on a watch list immediately. Yeah, guys, get on.
There's women in that person's basement, man or I don't know if it's a man or a woman, but whoever that person is, I'm telling you now, there is a person chained in the bottom of a hole in their basement, guaranteed.
Yes.
So anyway, let's not bury the lead. So all these girls get individual torture. Bianca gets her forehead cut off. The one girl gets hot water dumped on her. One girl gets her eye gouged out. One girl gets her tongue cut off. And the other girl gets her fingers cut off. and then we get to the main event where like now all of them are put in like, and honestly, the only positive thing I'll say about this movie is the costume design is above average. They get put in really elaborate like ball gowns with the fascinators over their faces, and then they're paraded out to like another beauty pageant where, surprise, Meredith, the girl they tortured, is like the MC. I don't know.
Well, it's weird because we see her like every now
she
and
got
then,
kidnapped too. Yeah.
Well, no, we don't see her get kidnapped.
It doesn't seem like she's like laying on the ground, and like the one other person who we have no idea who
and someone is sewing above. So it's like like I don't know if obviously it's a lie.
Yeah.
But it's
a red herring.
So dumb. Yeah. And so like she's like, oh well, here's our top 5, and then she shoots 2 of them.
To choose our top 3.
And they're like, oh, here's our top, oh look, here's our top 3, and then she like dispatches 2 of them.
Yeah, I thought so.
And then the one main bitch somehow gets away.
Yeah. And then chase her through the woods.
And then, she
also, when she gets away, like she's wearing one shoe and she's like limping around when she's in the room. When she gets away, she's got like a 1.5 second head start over a guy. I don't expect the dwarf to chase her, but the guy is definitely able to chase her. And like you never see the guy again. She runs into like 15 dead ends, 10 locked doors. Nobody ever catches her.
She keeps falling down. Keeps, like when she's finally outside, she keeps falling down. Like I thought there was like a bear trap or something. No, like she just falls down and she's just crying. And it's like, and then she like somehow gets to safety.
No, they catch her. And then they tie her to the tree and kill her.
Oh, I guess I blanked out after a while.
Yeah, they catch her. She does not get away. She does not get away. Meredith catches up to her. I believe she just I don't know exactly the method of killing, but then you see her and all the other girls are like strapped to a tree. And it's like a monument to whatever the fuck Meredith was talking about. And then it's just a big still on the tree with all the dead bodies attached to it. And then Atelophobia, a film by Joe Lujan.
That's right.
Is and whatever. That's it. And the lesson is about it's so funny because there's an interview with him in the second movie, so I imagine that's taken from actual press for the first movie. And what does he say? It's like it's a movie about how it's an anti-bullying movie, but sometimes the people who are bullied retaliate, and they're wrong too. Basically, and those aren't his exact words, but that's basically what he's talking about.
And what spoiler alert for Atelophobia 2. I know you guys are really crestfallen about this, but then he actually goes on and says that the film was basically a manifestation of his own own aggressions, and it's like,
dude, you're telling on yourself now, dude.
Oh, and somehow guys, the second one is infinitely worse. We'll get into that.
Oh, next week. I can't wait because it's there's so much. I have so much meta criticism for Atelophobia 2. But for now, we're talking about Atelophobia 1. So let's get to these ratings. Now, this movie is we're well beyond Saw. This movie came out in 2015, so we're over a decade past Saw. This is another let's take the premise of Saw and just put a little twist on it, and it is not even it's not even refreshing. It's just It's paint by numbers, but they only used one color. It's just red and red and red and red. So one videotape for me. Will, what do you think?
It really pains me to use the term generous here, but this got 1.5 from me, just because it's like usually these kind of movies usually get a 2 from me, because like, okay, they suck, but it doesn't piss me off. This one pissed me off because it just drones on, like what John said earlier. This literally could have been a 10-minute film. It still would have sucked, but at least it could have gotten that extra half star if it just got itself over and done with like quickly. But it's like there's no reason for it to be this long of a film, or at the very least, like it could have explained why they weren't, like why they were breaking their own rules, or they could have at least followed the rules or something. Yeah, this film just makes no logical sense whatsoever, and it just goes on and meanders. It's just stupid.
Yeah, it is the cutscenes from Saw expanded it, like these shots from Saw where people shake and thing for like 80 something minutes. That's
I feel like this film like completely like exemplifies every like the entire term of torture porn, where where like Saw is like mislabeled as torture porn.
Yeah, like this is basically like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of movies like this, and I could go on, but this is one of the ones that has just done the worst. And there's movies that are trying to do this that just unabashedly do it. And like I respect those movies far more than I respect this movie.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Well, that'll do it for Atelophobia, and that'll do it for Versus this week. If you made it this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Go to the Facebook group at Why We Love Horror, and while you're at it, go over to Letterboxd and join the Why We Love Horror Challenge. A movie a week, or at this point you'll be doing more than one a week, but join anyway. Let us know how you're doing. Schedule here is always the same. Sunday is Why We Love Horror TV. Monday is Versus, you're watching it. Next week it's Atelophobia 2. This Thursday, Hard Eyes on Why We Love Horror, and Friday is always Why We Love Horror Trivia. Until next time, I am John Maher. That is Will Cohen, and this has been Versus. We'll see you next week.